Hi everyone, it's Desiree, and yes, finally, we are going to make a spinner. So I am going to focus on the Slimline, and again, it's the dimensions. So this is going to fit in whatever envelopes you use for your Slimline cards, and this is the base here. And when you purchase this, you're going to get this piece as well, because this is very important, because this is going to create the accordion for the bottom, okay? And I'll walk through this because I've taken a lot of looking. All right, so you'll get these two pieces. Then I'm going to use the Christmas tree for the spinner. What is great about this piece, again, to have something that's truly versatile is great, because we can stretch those dies. So this can be a card. This could be a home decor piece. You've got all of these choices. So we're going to focus on the tree. We're going to make that all kinds of colorful. We're going to build our spinner, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed that mine's going to come out as well as everyone else's. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so before we get started in the construction here of this spinner, I wanted to show the pieces that you'll cut for this. All right, so you're going to need 2 of this plate. Now, this plate is built, and I'm going to show you here, with the main outer piece and then this center piece here. And you want to make sure that you tack it in place. And a wise person said to keep it that way, because in case you have to cut something again, it's in the same spot. I'm just saying, it was a wise person that said that. Follow it. I'm just saying. So you'll need 2 of those. Don't take it apart when you're done, because you may need it again, because you change your mind. Well, at least I do. When it comes to this piece, these pieces here, and this one, again, it is suggested to use a heavyweight cardstock. Depending upon the weight of the spinner, you know, you want to make sure that it's stable, okay? So, and that's what these braces are as well. So you need 2 of your front and back. Again, don't remove that. You're going to need 1 of this panel. Now, you don't need this. This is for a sentiment, if you want to put this onto a sentiment. And we're actually going to cut this piece off. So I'll be showing you that before we switch over. You're going to need 2 sides of your spinner. So whatever you cut for one side, you're going to cut it again for the second side, because you're going to mirror it. All right. So again, when it comes to the spinner pieces, and I've chosen to use the tree, you want to cut 2 of everything. Okay. The back, the front, and then all of the pieces that you're going to use to build it. So I've done that here. Also here, so I have 2 bows, here these 2 bows, 2 presents, 2 presents, 2 pots, 2 pots. You want 1 of these mechanisms, and you can see all of the pieces for the mechanism itself, I'm using 1 color. You don't have to. You can use multiple colors. You can use pattern paper. If it's not a heavyweight pattern paper, you could mount that onto a heavyweight cardstock. Again, keeping that piece together, you'll be fine to do that, and then you can adhere it. You'll need 2 of the panels that go here, and then you'll need, if you want to cover those in something else, you'll need 2 of those again, and then of course a piece of string. All right, so that's the basis of what you're going to need to create your spinner. All right, so now I'm going to switch over. No, I'm not. Before I do, I'm going to take this, and I don't want this piece here. So what I'm going to do is, you can see that there are score lines. Probably not. So there's a score line here, and there's another score line up here. I'm going to cut the one at the top, and I'm going to cut right along that score line. I do not need this piece. And now we are set to start. But I just wanted to go over that real quick. I hope it helps. Just keep the pieces together. All right, so I'm going to push all of this out of the way, and we are going to start building and coloring and having a lot of fun with our pieces. Here we go. Okay, so let's get started. Now, I have some iced tea because I'm sure I'm going to lose my voice towards the end of this, so I apologize. Okay, so went over all of the pieces. I have cardstock here. Now, if you've seen previous videos before, I've used avocado dyed papers. This is actually some scrap cardstock. It looks just like avocado because I was going to pull that in, and then I found this. So I did a double cut. So I cut it from the thick cardstock. And then I also cut it from the pattern paper that I had, and I've just layered them, made it just a little bit thicker, but you didn't have to. Now, the paper that I used for the spinner base, the spinner holder, let's call it that, everything like in that corally red, it's the Tim Holtz, excuse me, cardstock. And I'm not quite sure of the weight of that. Tell you what, let me quick get that. All right, let's see if it tells me. I have no idea. Does not tell me, but it's pretty thick. I'm going to say it's close to 80 or 100 pounds. That's my guess. All right, so as you can see, I came in with a gold jelly roll pen, and I just went over some areas on the presents. These are cut in craft. I wanted them, since they're up on the trees, to just be that solid color. I used the red satin mirror for the bows on the top. I will come in, of course, you knew Vintage Photo was coming in here somewhere, right? I'm just saying. On each side of the tree pots so that it makes it look like it's a little bit rounded. Not that that's really going to matter because I am going to probably cover them up depending upon where those presents go. And I'm going around each of these panels. And then I'm going to just do a light. I didn't want to go too heavy around this because of that color that already looks a lot vintage. So I don't need to, you know, and every time I say the word vintage, I'm laughing, and there's an individual that knows why I'm laughing now. So I'm going to take the tree, and I have that cardstock, and I'm going to place that in behind. Now, you could use different color cardstocks to cover up so that those ornaments are all different. You could do a blended background, just make your blends really small to get all of those different colors in there. That's what I was going to do originally, but when I saw this cardstock, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is, it just absolutely drew me there to do that. Now, what I did do was also cut the trees in a gold glitter paper, cardstock. And that's because I'm going to be filling in the garland that's going around that tree. So I'm putting down the pot. Now, once I have the first one down, I'm going to bring the other tree, place it on top, and I'm going to place it to make sure, lay them on top of each other with the wrong sides facing to make sure that it's in the same spot. Because again, to create the spinner, you want to make sure that you're duplicating everything on both sides. If that makes sense. I also cut the top of the tree just with some gold mirror and then cut out my own shape for the star. Here I am. I'm putting in that glue in those strips. I was having a real problem with my wax pencil today. It was very frustrating. So I had to come in with another one. This is that Joel Picker. And I'm doing a die inlay into that tree with some gold glitter cardstock. Yes, I did not lose one. So far, I'm going to say 3 for 3 with not losing a small die cut. Yay me. it's, you know, major things can happen and it's exciting. All right, back to the thing. So now we're going to put the presents in place. Now, what you want to make sure is you don't want to go too far out. You don't want to go too far down. You know, you got to remember you have that opening and this is going to spin when you do that. So you want to keep things close. I know I really had to hold back because I wanted to add a lot of presents, but that's okay. I make up for it. So again, doing the same thing, wrong sides together, and I'm just laying those presents in the same exact spot so that they can be matched up. Does it have to be super accurate, perfect? Absolutely not. Let it go. I say it in one word. You know, and I had asked in a previous video what that's from. A lot of people said Frozen. And you're not wrong, but it was said more eloquently in Frozen. You know, let it go. You know, and people sung it. The way that I was saying it, there was one person that got it right, and that's from Reba Van. He'd like to say one word, let it go. And that's what we have to do. Okay, back to the card, rambled a little bit. So I'm pulling in a stamp set, Christmas Icons, I believe is what it was called, or the one with all of the cute little tiny stamps there to create beautiful backgrounds. And I'm using the Merry Christmas sentiment, and I'm going to stamp that to the front. I'm going to use my gold Recollections embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat set that, and that's where my sentiment is. Now we're going to get into the folding. So we have the piece with the hole. You want to make sure the hole is at the bottom, so you're creating an M. Now we're going to take the side panels. Now with thick cardstock, it's best recommended to use thick cardstock for this because this is pretty tall. I like to form the score lines first and then really fold them down with a bone folder to make sure that they're straight. So I'm not really pushing too hard. I just want those fibers to break in that thick cardstock. Okay. And I do love this cardstock. This is the first time I'm using it, actually, the Ideology. Wow. And it didn't even crack once. Amazing. So now again, we have the two side panels that were done. Again, you're making them look like M's. Okay. So the wrong side should be on the inside of the two valleys you're creating. Now we have this. All right. And again, you want those flat sides to be coming down. All right, so that they can match up to the inside of that panel. I hope this is making sense. Now I'm just adding all of my double-sided tape. So you want to do that to each of your ends when it comes to these pieces. I'm just getting them ready. It just helps. And remember, if your paper has a good and a bad side, now this does. This actually, you see the corally red, and then on the other side, it's craft. So I always wanted the corally red showing. So you can see I'm putting glue on top of that tape, and I'm going to bring it down to that one side. I'm going to really press it down, and then I'm going to reverse tweezers are your friend. So I use that just to hold that piece down because I want to get all of these pieces in place. So you can see that I'm creating the M to the inside. So the two mountains are pushing out from the inside. So you can see that. I mean, does that make sense? So you only have the one that's pointing down. Now, if your cardstock is the same on both sides, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying. So it's all in the fold. So now I'm going to take the first tag and put that up again, good side showing up. And again, you want that, when you bend that, you want that hole to be down, to be pushed down into your piece. It's at this time I am putting my string in place, like I showed before. Now my string was thin, so I doubled it up, which is fine, but you do want a thick string. You do not want something thin here. So get something a little bit thick, but make it like a twine. Does that make sense? No. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to do the same thing that I did before. And again, the reverse tweezers were just helping me because, again, you've got all of these accordions coming at you. And it was just able to get that flat to help make everything even, because you want to make sure your opening is set as well. So by pushing this piece down, you're making sure that it's all lined up. Because again, you're going to have this piece in there spinning. To do this, I just folded that up and then just matched that up when I put that in together. And that is what your piece will look like. So now we're going to have fun and we're going to embellish. So first, the panels are going to go on. I'm going to prop them up with double-sided foam tape. Now, I will also encourage you, and I know Sabrina from Scrappy Tails will be doing a video on one of these, whether it's the snow globe shape or whether it's the slimline like I chose. They are put together the same way. Oh, I cannot encourage you enough to watch one of her videos. She is the queen of these things. Yep, I said it. And I know she's going to make a comment right back. But she makes it look so easy when it comes to this. So I'm very grateful that she's like, okay, well, this is how it goes together. Oh, my God. So I put a strip of double-sided tape down the center of my tree so that I can place my twine. Now, I should have come in with the double-sided, with the reverse tweezers to hold this down, but you can see my hand is doing yoga, holding everything flat so that I can get that string in there. And even though I have that double up there, I'm pushing that into the center. I'm trimming it, and then I'm going to come in with my liquid glue. Yes, the other hand is still doing yoga. Don't we wish we had that third hand? That's where the reverse tweezers would have come in. And then I'm coming in with that second piece, the mirror piece, and I'm pushing that down. Now we're just going to make sure that everything is set, making sure that everything is all adhered. You want to make sure both sides are set. And now I'm just making sure that it's straight. So you hold the top, you spin, and wah, it does. It's spin. And again, guys, on my video, it's really tough for me to show this. I can't get that angle. So yeah, I apologize. But this would make an absolutely gorgeous home decor piece. I'm just saying. And look, now there's 2 reverse tweezers because we are not done. Now I am going to have fun embellishing this. So I am on the back side of this piece. I cut a lot of presents in pattern paper and more craft. I have gold bows now, not just red bows, and I am having fun placing these. Here's what you need to make sure that you keep an eye on. You need to make sure that you're not blocking that window, because again, it's going to swing as it spins. You don't want it to get caught on anything. So you saw what I did on the back. Now the front, I'm going to do a little bit more. So I'm going to come in around the Merry Christmas, being careful again to stay out of that window. Now you can see that one present, I have that tucked, and I have everything coming off the sides. So I might be adding too much for my slimline envelope, but I don't know. I use size 10s for my slimline cards. So it's a pretty big envelope, and I do have some room. I'm putting some along the top because why not? And then we are now fully decorated. I did add gems too to the tree. I didn't know if I told you all of that. I probably did not because I was gabbing about something. But absolutely. Now I'm doing this in real time because everything was just sped up. So you can see from the top, it just spins. Now I have something crooked on this, but again, I also, what looks absolutely beautiful is when I had my overhead fan on in my room and it was just sitting there, and I turned around because it was hitting something, and I turned, and oh my God, it just looks beautiful the way that it swings in this bezel, this house that it's sitting in. What I was able to do is to get that. So here is with the fan that was running in my room. You can just see it just swings back and forth. To make it spin, I hold the top and I spin just a little bit, just a few turns, because again, it's going to move a little bit inside, and then just let it go. And you will see that twirl, and you can set that up prior to putting in the envelope. So when the recipient pulls this out, it'll just spin. It's absolutely gorgeous. So guys, these are absolutely phenomenal. Her mind is just amazing when she creates these dies. And if I can put this together, guys, you can too. But I encourage you, look for her video and look for everybody else's videos as well. So again, thank you. I do hope you enjoyed this project. Hope I gave you some tips and tricks. Hope I didn't confuse you too much. But I really did enjoy this, this final project for this new release. You will see more projects as well as we continue throughout each month. Everything will be linked down below with the specific products that I use, and then of course to their shop and also to their blog. Be inspired by so many others. I encourage you to do that as well. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below, and I will make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell so that you know when the next video is live. Hopefully they tell you. If not, just know I do post pretty regularly here, and make sure you hit that thumbs up. Enjoy your day. Smile, laugh as we continue through our journey. But most of all, and again, I know I always say this, but it truly is most important to me. Always be creative, guys. And until the next video, take care.